Hey everybody, my name's Eric. I'm a thrifter and online reseller. I just got back from a really fun session at the bins and got all this great stuff right here, and I thought it might be fun to take a little journey with me over the last 4 or 5 days of thrifting and show you kind of what brands I'm looking for, what items I'm looking for that I know I can flip online for a profit. Starting off here at the bins, in this first bin I immediately noticed a Ray-Ban case and I had to check it out and see what was inside. There was a pair of vintage Olympians. There was a Bausch & Lomb stamp on the lens, so you know it's pre-1999 when Luxottica took over the brand. Great find here and only cost about $1. Next find in the hard goods was this great video maker light panel, and I don't know that this will sell for a ton, but it is something pretty cool I can add to my video production arsenal. Another new rotation opened up, and right on top of this bin you can see there are some Adidas Predator laceless cleats. These sell for about 30 bucks, but they also weigh hardly anything, so not bad at the bins. Shortly after that I find a single cleat. This is a Nike Huarache. These are lacrosse cleats. Whenever I find shoes that I think might be valuable, even if it's a single, I will throw it in the cart and see if I can find the other one later. I really love these hard good bins that have just tons of stuff in them because people tend to kind of go through them really quickly. I love to dig, so I dug through this one here and found a really nice mid-century piece here. This is a dance desk organizer. This little desk caddy should sell for around 40 bucks. Went to drop some stuff off in my cart and then I headed back out. Out of the corner of my eye, I do spot the match to that lacrosse cleat that I picked up just a minute ago. At the bins, there's always some dead time in between rotations, and I use that time to look up items I've thrown in the cart and I'm not really sure about. It's a great way to make sure things are actually worth taking home. We're almost into that spring season, and one of my favorite things to look for at the bins are golf bags. Vintage Nike stuff sells really well, but this bag was kind of rough, had some dry rot going on, but I did find an OGO pivot stand bag that was in really nice condition. The legs worked great. At the outlet that I go to, anything that's considered a heavier item, usually around 4 or 5 pounds, they just mark it at $6.99 flat. Once the golf season really gets going, you can turn a $7 bag into $40 or $50 pretty easily on Facebook Marketplace. Next, I'm back at the accessories bins. I find a lot of hats in these bins. This is a Travis Matthew hat, but this one was just a little bit dirty and I didn't feel like it was worth taking the time to clean it up. In that same bin, I do find a Guinness beanie. It's got some nice embroidery on it. It's probably not going to sell for a lot, but with St. Patrick's Day coming up, this one might sell pretty quickly and won't cost me much here at the bins. Cotopaxi is one of my favorite brands to find. It always sells really fast. This little waist bag did have some embroidery from some type of event on the top, but it's not going to cost me much, and I can usually take embroidery like this out pretty easily. It really didn't take too long to get all the embroidery out, and I think it'll really help the resale value. I did find this Duck Camp strapback hat. I wanted to talk about this brand because you saw me pass on a Travis Matthew hat earlier because it's a super saturated brand. This brand is something I've only found a few times and it always sells really quickly for me. This hat is pretty dirty. I'm not afraid of a little project, and I did get this one cleaned up really nicely. Still digging through these accessory bins, and I do find this Fjallraven bag. This brand can sell really well, but this bag had some condition issues, and I really prefer to pick up any of their apparel items. The bags are really oversaturated. Right after that, I found this nice Seahawks Carhartt 47 collab. It was a little bit dirty, but I think I can get this one cleaned up. I also found a really nice condition Titleist Flex Fit hat. These can typically sell for around 20 bucks, especially in great condition like this. But you'll see here I do find a Ping hat as well. Lately I've just been lotting up all of my nicer golf hats, and they seem to be selling pretty well that way. Got my hopes up for a second here. I saw that classic Louis Vuitton damier pattern, but once I took a look at this was definitely a really bad fake. Gonna start digging for some clothing here. They just brought out a double row of clothing. You can see it gets extremely busy in this area. Always hard to find a spot to dig, but I did pull out a couple of nice pieces. This first find here is a vintage Nike Team USA soccer jacket. It had a little bit of condition issues. At first I thought I could fix it up. It was a really neat piece. After I looked it over a little bit more, it was missing the front zipper, and with some of the other condition issues and having to replace the zipper, I just didn't feel like it was worth getting this thing back to the condition I felt good selling it in. And you'll see I do spot the Lululemon logo on this little red vest over here. Immediately grabbed it. Once I give it a look, this was one of the nicer models, down-filled, in really great condition. Pretty great find here. In another bin, I found this older corduroy jacket that had some Sherpa lining. It looked like it was probably vintage, but I couldn't find any tagging on it. And without details like that, it can be really hard to sell something based on just style alone. Also found this nice Southwestern pattern Tejidos zip-up hoodie. Things with this type of patterning are really popular, and I did take a minute to comp this, and it looks like these sell pretty well. A lot of times you'll find t-shirts that are inside out. I always check these to see what the graphic is. Sometimes you never know. I found some pretty good stuff that nobody else took the time to flip inside out. I also found this older Affliction Georges St. Pierre thermal. I think the market may be slowing down on these a little bit, but not a bad find at the bins. Sometimes you gotta do a little shopping for yourself too. This pair of Banana Republic Traveler jeans was my size, in really good condition. These do resell fairly well, but I'm gonna keep these for myself. Also found this pair of Essential shorts. This brand was pretty hot, but I think it's pretty oversaturated at this point, and these really don't sell for much. Sometimes you just buy things you like too. This Trumpet patent graphic t-shirt probably isn't worth a ton, but I think it looks cool, and I'm sure someone will buy it eventually. Another brand I always look for is Cool. It's a little oversaturated, but it always sells for me, especially some of these older fleece pieces like this. This jacket just felt like great quality as I was digging, so I pulled it out to take a closer look. Had to do a little research. This is Dakota Grizzly, never heard of it, has a very high retail price point. Not a ton of sales data on eBay for these yet, but I think this might do pretty well. Obviously, Patagonia is a great brand to look for. I tend to look more for their jackets or more technical gear, but being able to pick these up at the bins for around $1 is a no-brainer for me. Another brand I've never heard of before here, but again, these just felt like quality once I touched them. These are Miles, M-Y-L-E-S. Just felt like great quality, and again, they're only about $1. One of my fellow thrifters had pulled this. We kind of talked about it a little bit because I thought it was cool, and she decided she wasn't going to take it, so she just gave it to me. Bowden's a brand I learned about from watching other YouTube resellers. This cardigan isn't one of their higher end ones, but should still sell for around $30 or $35. Pretty bummed I didn't capture actually finding this one. I had walked out to check one of the last rotations before I left, and there was this beautiful Nike ACG jacket. This is one of my favorite brands to look for. I love the styling of the ACG line, the vintage stuff and the newer stuff. Really cool to find this beautiful jacket at the bins. I really wish it was my size. Let's hit some thrift stores. This is St. Vincent de Paul. Solomon makes some great technical gear. Their shoes are extremely popular. This pair of Outlines should sell for around $30 or $40. Also found this pair of Keen Newports. These are classics. These always sell really quickly for me, especially in the spring and summer. Took a quick spin through the dollar rack right before I checked out. All Saints is a little oversaturated, but for $1, you can't go wrong. Also in that dollar rack is a Lucchese t-shirt. Didn't know they made t-shirts, but these should sell pretty well. I'm at Thrift City on half price day. Over in the shorts section, I did find this pair of Viore Banks shorts. Very popular brand. These always sell very quickly and only $3. Also found a pair of Troy Lee Designs BMX shorts. Not a brand you see a lot, but they always sell quickly, and these were only $3. Now I'm over in what they call their better quality section at this thrift store. There were some interesting shirts here, but I think this one was like $17. Kind of a cool older vintage piece, but what a wild price. I also really like this Hawaiian and kind of wish I would have gotten this one for myself. Just kind of a weird little shirt that looked kind of cool to me. They also had this Harley Davidson motor clothes shirt. They wanted $26 and even at half price. It's just not worth it. There was also a Robert Graham new with tags shirt here. I think this one was $27 too. This brand can sell really well, but just not worth picking up at this price. They had some other kind of wild shirts here. Not really sure what this little banana situation was. There was kind of a cool Western shirt here, didn't really know what the brand was, and all of it was just really overpriced. Here we are at a Goodwill retail store and found this nice Philippines jacket, lots of embroidery on it. Not sure why my camera was pointed up so far here, so I got a few other shots of it at home. This was only $8 and should sell for around 40. I always love finding a nice Nike or Adidas soccer jersey when I'm out at the thrift. These can sell really well. This one here raised a few red flags for me. That Nike logo wasn't embroidered quite correctly. Modern Nike stuff should have their tags on the lower left inner seam. This had tags that were much bigger than normal and halfway up the right side inner seam. Definitely a fake. This next find is probably one of my more interesting finds lately. I'd never heard of this brand, but these immediately felt like quality once I touched them. I had to check the inside. The brand is Outliers. These retail around $200 and resell really nicely. Definitely one to be on the lookout for. I also spotted this pair of Intuition ski boot liners. I don't know a whole lot about these and I could not find any great comps for these. Some of these sell for $150 used, some of these sell for $20 used. I really just wasn't sure and they wanted $20, so I put them back. A fresh rack came out and I found the Ralph Lauren purple tag. One you always want to look out for. Purple tag Ralph Lauren stuff, even basics like this, can sell really well. Later on that new rack, found a pair of cool Radical pants. A little pricey at $12.99, but these have over 100% sell-through rate and sell for around $36. Back on the shoe rack, I found this nice pair of Thursday Boot Co. Chelsea's. Great brand, always sells quick. So those are some of my better finds from the last 4 or so days of thrifting. I usually try to get out for about an hour or two every day. Hopefully it gives you an idea of some of the things I'm looking for, and hopefully it gives you some new items and some new brands to look for when you're out thrifting yourself. Really appreciate you watching. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and I hope I'll see you soon.